Hello, my name is Oliver Malcolm, and I'm a merchant consultant. I appreciate you listening to me today, and this is a 5-part series with regard to how to decide on a merchant service provider. Outsourcing as well as exclusivity with a potential service provider. And I'll kind of explain what outsourcing is. First of all, most banks, generally speaking, do outsourcing as a way of reducing their costs. So they'll hire, hypothetically, an ISO or another firm to do their actual credit card processing. Well, how does that affect you as a business owner? Is that you would possibly have to deal with that third party at some point, depending on how your relationship is set up with whomever the service provider is. So you want to be comfortable with working with that third party, aka the middleman. You'll want to know any contact information for that party, what's the best way to contact them, and make sure that the person that's explaining this information to you doesn't just hand you a blanket statement, oh yeah, you can get a hold of them anytime between blah blah and so and so. You want an actual name with an email address that you can contact prior to accepting and creating a business relationship with the service provider. The other thing you want to consider is exclusivity. And what I mean by that is certain ISOs and merchant processing companies have contracted relationships with certain vendors that I'll direct all of my credit card processing through you. Don't have any other companies that I'll use. So you're kind of stuck with who that merchant service provider has contracted with. The other thing to consider is with regard to software and equipment. If you decide to go with a company because you like their rates and you already have equipment, can that equipment be reprogrammed? Or in the case of software, can your software be continued to be used, and you just change the actual company doing the processing? Those are important items because they can be costly and they can also disrupt the performance of your company as well as the experience of your customers. Lastly, what I'd like for you to do is just consider these things during that initial assessment that we talked about in part 1, that those should be questions that you have answered before entering into an agreement. Make sure you understand what and whom you're going to have to deal with outside of the party who's delivering the message about all of the good things that the merchant service provider has to offer. Because you may like that particular provider, may like their rates, but you may find that you have a problem with a third party. So with those things being said, I hope that you'll listen in for part 3, which will be what I would say is the fun part, where you start to determine what the cost is actually going to be to do business with a certain merchant service provider. With that, I thank you very much. I can be reached at area code 214-785-4505.